Greetings, mortals! I am the BookTube Goddess, the #1 drag queen booktuber on YouTube. I was tagged to do the Backstage BookTube tag by Sarah of Voyage Through Worlds. Or is it Voyage Through Words? Either way, she is a fantastic booktuber who you should definitely be subscribed to. The original tag was by Rainier Books. I'm not familiar with this booktuber, but his channel looks interesting and I'm definitely going to subscribe to him, and you should too. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to me if you aren't subscribed already, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. And while you're at it, go ahead and give this video a like. Okay, this tag is not specifically about books, which is interesting. Rather, it is about behind the scenes. Ugh. Does anyone really want to see what goes on behind the curtain?
And now let's get into the questions. The first question is, what camera do you use?
Okay, I'm a little bit embarrassed because I did what you're not supposed to do when you first start YouTube. And I went out and bought some expensive-ish equipment. And I did that because, frankly, I have some disposable income and it's something I wanted to do for myself. And I don't recommend you do this, especially if you're not monetized like myself. But I went ahead and got a Canon EOS M50 mirrorless digital 4K camera. I think I got it through one of the recommended cameras videos on YouTube, and it's perfectly fine. It does the job. I wish it didn't cut off at 30 minutes because I hate like restarting and doing all that sort of thing. I wish there was at least an hour of film time, and I can't really use the speaker on the camera. I know Sarah, when I was watching her Backstage video, she was saying that her camera has pretty good sound. I wish my camera had good sound. It does not, but the camera does the job and I'm fine with it.
Question number 2 is, speaking of filming and being your own director, do you have a favorite director?
Okay, well, my favorite films, I guess I could mention those directors. Like, I love the original Star Wars trilogy, which was George Lucas, and of course I love Lord of the Rings, which is Peter Jackson. But there is this one director where I see his films and I can immediately recognize sort of the tone and the storytelling style. It's very unique, and that is Wes Anderson. He did like The Royal Tenenbaums, Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, The Budapest Hotel. The most recent one, which I liked a lot, was a stop motion animation called Isle of Dogs.
The Japanese archipelago, 20 years in the future. Canine saturation has reached epidemic proportions. An outbreak of dog flu rips through the city of Megasaki. Mayor Kobayashi issues emergency orders, calling for a hasty quarantine. Trash Island becomes an exile colony. The Isle of Dogs.
And it was on Disney, and I was watching this very quirky, oddly told story, and I was like, what is this reminding me of? Then I thought, well, yeah, it's like the Royal Tenenbaums or Wes Anderson movies, but I thought it was a Japanese-made movie. And then at the end, of course, I saw that, yes, it was Wes Anderson who was a director. And not many directors have that really unique style that you can almost recognize as you're watching it. I know maybe Woody Allen did, although we don't talk about Woody Allen anymore, but also maybe M. Night whatever his name is, the M. Night fellow, has a very distinct voice in his directing.
Question number 3, what microphone do you use and what program for editing?
Okay, well, I was talking about sound before, and sound has always sort of been my bugaboo. And I just recently got a new microphone. It's an Audio-Technica AT897 line gradient shotgun condenser microphone. That's what it's called on Amazon. And when you get this type of microphone, you need an audio interface, and I got the Focusrite Scarlett Solo. Now, for editing my videos, I do Acrobat Premiere Pro. Now again, this microphone and the software is more expensive than someone who doesn't make any money on YouTube has a right to be using, but again, it's my money and I've chosen to go in this direction.
Question number 4. Do you remember the first record you bought or received as a gift?
Yes, I do. Other than like children's records, my first real album was the Beatles' White Album, and it was from my Uncle Richard. And he also got me a copy, I don't know if it was the same time, but he got me a record of Wings, which is Paul McCartney's later band. But the White Album I listened to over and over again. It is really a masterpiece, and if you haven't heard the whole album through, it definitely does give you that feeling of entering another world, another time. And listening to it, I so wanted to come of age in the 60s because it just seemed so magical. But of course, I think every generation looks back at an earlier generation and thinks, oh, if I was only born one generation before.
Question number 5. How do you prepare your videos, detailed script, talking points, or just talking?
Well, it depends on the video. Some videos are just talking like Shelve It or Shove It, or an unboxing video. There's no way you can script for that. But for reviews, I like having a script if I do a full book review or something like that. Now, I do use bullet points for tag videos like this one because I would have never remembered the name of my camera or microphone without bullet points. Now, I know everyone has their own style, but I actually like a well-scripted video where the person doesn't sound like they're reading from a script. Like I know Dominic Noble's one of my favorite booktubers or YouTubers, and he definitely does scripts. And there's lots of other people that don't use a script and just engage with you naturally. And it doesn't really matter to me as long as it works. For me, I use all sorts of different methods. Whether it works or not, well...
So next question I just gotta read because it's too long to memorize. But TV shows have become the thing of our time. Game of Thrones, Stranger Things, Netflix, HBO and Amazon. What are your favorite TV shows ever? Name a maximum of 3.
Gosh, it's hard just to do 3. But looking back, I've always been very drawn to science fiction. There haven't really been fantasies, at least when I was growing up, that I can remember liking anyway. But science fiction television shows, oh my gosh, my favorite of all time is Star Trek, the original series, which first aired in the late 60s and was on rerun all the time when I was growing up. And I can't tell you how drawn I was to Star Trek, the original series. And another series that really I was drawn to was Doctor Who, the 4th Doctor, Tom Baker. And I think he is the greatest Doctor who has ever performed the role. And I know we can fight about it, but oh my gosh. Also, I guess it's the age you first start watching the Doctor. I thought he was magnificent. He was truly an alien. And I could just totally believe that he was a Time Lord traveling through time and space and collecting companions, and I wanted to be his companion.
Somehow I have the impression you're thinking of killing yourself.
It's the taxes. What? The the taxes.
Oh, the taxes, my dear old thing. All you need is a wily accountant. Would you care for a jelly baby?
Okay, and one more series that I really love, I'm going to say Babylon 5, which was in the 90s. But oh my gosh, all my friends who are into science fiction were talking about it. We were like making theories. Babylon 5, if you haven't seen it, the first season isn't great. I mean, it's okay. But it really picks up on the second season when it started doing this long story arc. And it was between order and chaos rather than good and evil. That was kind of the storyline. And the alien races were fantastic. The Centauri, oh my gosh, they were my favorites. And of course, since then, as I've gotten older, there's been tons of new shows that I've been very impressed with. But those three science fiction shows, I think, have really stuck with me.
Question number 7. What kind of booktube videos do you prefer to watch and why? Reviews, wrap-ups, book hauls, tag videos, etc.
Well, I don't think it's been any surprise that I've been watching Jess Owen's book community videos. I think those are fascinating because they're unique. I haven't seen those anywhere else. Other than that, I mostly just watch the booktubers rather than the types of videos. However, I do keep an eye out for books that I may be interested in, and I know people don't do reviews that often, but sometimes they're stuck in wrap-ups. I also love watching tag videos. I don't know if they're that popular anymore, but there's something about them that's kind of interesting.
The last question is, watching TV was probably a part of all of our childhoods. These years it has become less popular. What kind of media user are you?
Okay, well, I still watch TV, but I cut the cord. So I don't have any network or cable television anymore, no dish, everything is streaming. And there are so many streaming services you can find: Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, Disney. Those are my current streaming services I pay for, but sometimes I'll drop one and pick up another. Like I think I'm going to cut Disney for a few months and switch to HBO or something else for a while. There's absolutely no reason to subscribe to every streaming channel. You'll go broke, but I've gotten into the habit of dropping one and watching another because, I mean, there's only so much time in the month that you can't possibly watch everything from every interesting channel. So maybe I'll do Disney one month, HBO another month, Cinemax another month, or Starz. Starz is the one I like because I like some of their series. Anyway, and of course, I do watch a bit of YouTube. Okay, let's tag some people. I think I'm going to tag Break Even Books because I'm really curious about him behind the scenes. And I'll tag Fit to Be Read because I'm curious about his equipment. And let's tag Britta Bowler, a booktuber and author I've recently befriended, and she is an amazing person and has a very eclectic taste in books, but I have no idea what she's like backstage. Please check out all of these channels. I'll link them below in the description. And until we meet again, may all the books you read be blessed.